Hi, it's Andrew Helmich here from Impact Images, and welcome to another episode of the Central Coast Wedding Photography Quick Tips. Today I wanted to talk to you about winter weddings. Now, I don't know if you've planned your wedding date yet, but if you are looking at a winter wedding, there are some definite advantages there. So they are actually the same advantages as having a midweek wedding. So if you haven't seen that video quick tip, jump back over there and have a look at that one. But briefly, you should save money with your bookings for all your different vendors if it's a winter wedding, particularly with your reception venue. Plus, you won't have to book as early, and there should be more things available to you, especially if you're leaving your bookings a little bit later. So definite advantages there for winter weddings. But there are some things you have to consider that you may not have thought of. The first one, which is an obvious one, is the fact that it gets dark early. But what you may not have thought of is if you're booking a photographer and you love their style of work, it's very natural, it's candid looking, to get that style of image, you need to have some light. You can't be shooting that sort of photography in pitch black. You need to use flash in those scenarios, or that sort of in that low light situation, and that's when you lose that spontaneity and that natural sort of look and feel. You certainly won't be able to get as many sequences that people tend to love as well. So if it's going to be getting dark around 5:30, you really need to start your photo shoot around 4:30, so you've got enough time to get those photos that you're after. Now, to have that sort of timing, then what you need to do is just work backwards from there. So plan your family photos and your group shot before that, and then your ceremony to start a good half an hour before that. So just work backwards from the time that you want to finish your photography, and then go from there. It should be pretty simple. So some other things you need to consider or look out for is the fact that it's going to be cold, or there's every chance it's going to be cold. Now, as a bride or a groom, usually you guys don't feel the cold because you're pumped up with adrenaline, you're excited, it's a massive day, everything's happening around you and for you and because of you. So I find that my bride and grooms tend not to feel the cold, but the girls do in the bridal party. The guys are normally fine. They've got jackets on and they're pretty good, unless they've given them to the girls because the girls are cold. But if you need to look after the girls if you want them to be out there and looking great in their photos. It's no use having them freezing cold or jumping into the cars between every single shot. It's just you lose that flow, you lose that feel, and it'll rub off on you. You get the feeling that the girls just don't want to be there. They want to be back at the reception. So it's pretty easy to combat that. All you need to do is maybe include a shawl when you're looking at what the girls are going to be wearing, maybe a little cardigan or something that's going to work with their outfit. You don't need to change the whole style of dress, just give them something over their shoulders to keep them warm. Now you can say, yep, get the jackets off the guys, that works as well. But you want the girls to be comfortable, you also want the guys to be comfortable, so that may not be the best solution. Now, if you don't want to add anything extra, any extra costs or any extra clothing to what the girls are wearing, get them to bring along a cardigan or a shawl or something themselves from home, and they can just whip that off between each photo. So it means they're not jumping back into the cars, like I said, and just interrupting the flow of the day. You want them to be out there and enjoying the day with you. That's what it's all about. So yeah, if they're warm, things will run nicely. Now, one last thing with a winter wedding is the fact, we talked about it getting dark early, but what happens, the darkness also falls very quickly. So you might have in mind to go to 2 or 3 different locations for your photography, and that's still fine, but you will need to allow a little bit more time to do that, because once it starts to get dark, it gets dark very quickly, particularly if you're looking at finishing your photo shoot at 5:30. So you don't want to be driving anywhere between 5 and 5:30, because by the time you get there, you get set up, ready to get some shots, bang, darkness has fallen, and it's tough. So yeah, make sure you've got enough time, basically, and enough light to do the shots you want. Now, if you're going to be going into the darkness, then you need to make sure your photographer knows how to shoot in that sort of low light situation. So make sure when you're making your booking, particularly if it's a winter wedding, that you have a look at the photographer's work that you're booking and ask to see some shots with flash or with it could be with video light as well. What you need to do is ask them to see some examples of their work shot in low light situations. Now, they should certainly not fob you off. That's a really important thing that you need to see, particularly if you're looking at going right up to that edge of the darkness for your photo shoot. I hope that helps. If you want more information or you want to download our price list, jump over to impact-images.com.au and you can download a price list from the weddings page right there. All right, I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.